Hey everyone, welcome to the Tech Banter. My name is Ankur. I am a tech professional based out of Seattle.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vishal. I am a software engineer in a big tech company, and I'm also based in Seattle.
Today we thought it will be good to discuss what are the interesting unicorns, startups around the valuation of $10 billion that we both find super interesting. What we are doing is I went ahead, researched about startups in the $10 billion valuation space. I came up with two names, and then Vishal did the same. He also came up with two unicorns around the $10 billion valuation. Hopefully, you will find it interesting as well. Again, this is not investment advice. So, if you are considering investing in these startups, please talk to somebody who can give you financial advice. All right. So, Vishal, before we get started, are you drinking something tonight?
Yeah, actually, today I have orange juice with club soda.
Nice.
Cool. What are
And
you drinking?
yeah, I am drinking. I'm going to open up this Mexican
Oh, nice.
soft drink called Favoritos, Refresco Favoritos. So it's a apple flavored drink, non-alcoholic. So I'll
Okay.
see. Let me try it out how it is. And cheers,
Cheers,
Vishal.
Ankur.
All right, so we are ready to start the discussion about unicorns and the ones that we found interesting. So, Vishal, let's kick it off with you talking about your first pick.
Cool. Yeah. So I will just give an overview of what was my basis on picking up these two startups. These two startups are doing something that I think is very unique, and it has a lot of value in future. They are around the range of 7.2 to 8.3 billion dollars. So they are definitely unicorns, but they are not into 50 billion or 80 billion mark unicorns, right? Which are very well known. And on the other hand, both my startups have some aspect of AI in that. So I think that is the trend that is going on right now. And to be honest, when I was researching companies, most companies now, startup companies, are implementing AI solutions.
Yeah.
So let's start with my first company. The name of my first company is Scale AI. Scale AI is basically a data platform company. Their mission is to accelerate AI development. AI, it needs a huge amount of data, and this data has to be first cleaned, then it has to be sorted, then it has to be tagged. There is a huge amount of workflow that goes into data. So Scale AI, it has found this unique spot in this AI development, where they recognize the importance of data. And what they have done is they have huge amount of data sets that can be used for training multiple models. This company is just 7 to 8 years old company right now. It started in 2016. It's currently valued at around 7.2 billion dollars. The founder of this company is Alexander Wang. Basically, he is current CEO as well. He is the youngest self-made billionaire as well. He became a
Oh,
billionaire at the age of just 25 years old. So, who are the customers of this company? There is a huge list of customers actually, but there are some very big names here, right? Microsoft, OpenAI, PayPal, SAP, like Toyota, GM. These are very big companies. And if these companies are relying on this Scale AI for data, like you can understand how much importance or value this company is going to create. So they have basically three industries that they cover. One is retail and e-commerce, second is defense, and third is logistics. So
where are they getting all this data from?
there are various ways to get this data, right? One is either you can buy it from the third party who are collecting these datas and aggregate it, right? Another thing is you already have your user base, right, to gather it, right? Let's go to logistics. So this is interesting one. They are saying that AI to automate and augment your operations for logistics, right? I was interested. Actually, they do document processing, which is a little bit boring now. Most of the AI does that, but
Yeah.
damage detection, right?
Mm.
Logistic robots. So logistic robots is a very generic solution that they have. It is able to sort things. It is able to rearrange things, right? So I think that is this logistic robotics is one of the divisions, I think, solutions that they have, which can be used beyond just the logistic needs. I think so.
Who are their competitors? Are they facing any competition in this space right now?
So, as far as competition is concerned, I think they have a couple of competitors, but they are not specialized in data providing solutions. There are other AI companies who are providing data because they get the. I think the arrangement is they get the data, they train their models, and now they have the contract that they can resell this data as well. So there is some sort of that competition, but there is not a specialized company who does just this thing. So that is the unique thing. They don't focus on creating AI solutions on top of their data, right? They
Mm.
are trying to make sure they accelerate the AI development. That is their
Mm.
motto, right? So the all the data set that I showed you right now, basically, if you want to create an AI application around that, Scale AI can help you to accelerate it, right?
Mm.
I will tell you, like, getting a pristine data, it is months and years of work,
Mm.
rather than the model optimization part of it, right?
Mm.
So I think many companies, as this AI acceleration or development goes forward, I think many companies are going to need this, and they will go to Scale AI for that.
Nice, nice pick. Looks like
Cool.
data is the new oil. So if
Yeah,
scale AI is going to solve the data problem for a
lot
lot
of
of the
companies.
AI leverage, then it will definitely have a very bright future. I saw that
Yes.
it has already raised Series E, so I guess the
Yes.
next logical round for this company is probably to go IPO. So
By the way, the amount of money that they have raised is not very huge. The company is valued at 7.2 billion, but I think they have raised somewhere around 600, 700 million only, right?
that's a lot of money.
Means I have another pick. We will talk about that
Okay.
shortly.
Okay.
We will compare that and this one, so you will feel that this company didn't raise that much and still it is valued at 7.2, right? So
I can guarantee you that I'll beat you to that metric, which is the amount of money raised versus the valuation of the
value.
company.
Oh.
I think it is a good segue to
Okay.
move on to my company.
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead.
My first pick is a company called Zapier. Before I talk more about Zapier, let me also tell about what was my framework of deciding on the two companies. So, my number one criteria was not to really look at super cool technology, but to look at companies which are actually solving tough business problems and adding value to a lot of entrepreneurs, right? So, both my picks are SaaS companies. So,
Okay.
basically, they build solutions that add value for other companies. All right. So, what does Zapier do? Right. So, Zapier allows users to integrate web applications and automate their workflows. So, how does that work? It's very simple. It has two steps. One is called a trigger, and the next one is called an action. You can basically set up workflows based on one trigger, and then once the trigger happens, you can set up what is the action that needs to be taken. And both the trigger and actions are nothing but two web applications. So think about two web applications as the first example is, let's say the trigger is a new HubSpot contact, and the corresponding action is that you create a row in your Google spreadsheet. Another example is, let's say the trigger is a new Shopify customer being added, and the corresponding trigger is that you add that customer as a subscriber in your MailChimp app. MailChimp is nothing but an app to aggregate a list of like email addresses or contacts that you can later reach out for like selling or marketing needs, etc. Zapier solves a very simple problem, which is basically it lets you stitch different workflows by adding a trigger and an action. So I think of it as a human communication protocol for different web APIs that are available on the internet. So here is a good example. So let's say you want to, as a user of Zapier, you want to create a workflow wherein every time somebody clicks on a Facebook ad, you want to let your team know about it, and you also want to let you also want to add the customer to your MailChimp email list, right? So this example shows that, which is whenever customer clicks an ad, you want to make sure that you notify your team members on Slack, and then after that you add contact of the person who clicked on the ad to MailChimp so that later you can pursue those leads. So this is basically a workflow, an example workflow that users or entrepreneurs can create using Zapier. Zapier has more than 5,000 plus app integrations. So pretty much I was looking at the list of app integrations, pretty much whatever you can think under the sun, Zapier has it. Some vital stats for the company. So this company was founded in 2011, so 12 years old. The founders are Wade Foster, Brian Helmig, and Mike Knoop. And this is what I was telling. The company is still in Series A. So it's a 13-year-old company still in Series A. So they just raised money from Y Combinator and Bessemer Ventures. So till date, they have just raised that round, and that round is just $1.3 million.
Wow.
They have a annual recurring revenue of more than $150 million, and they are currently valued at $5 billion. So I think it is one of the very few companies which has not raised any round after Series
Hmm.
A and still has a like more than $150 million of revenue. So I was looking at like the return on investment for the YC folks and Bessemer Ventures is more than 4,000x.
Wow.
So that kind of return, like venture
Crazy.
capitalists are like lucky if they can have that kind of return like once in their lifetime, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So that was also one of the reasons that I really liked Zapier, which is usually we hear a lot about startups raising like hundreds of millions of dollars and they're
Hmm.
still not profitable. But Zapier is a very unique and a very rare case wherein they raised so little but have been profitable from its very early days. Yeah, the number of employees, they are just like a little above 1,000 employees, and they have a few competitors in this space. The notable ones being Make, Workato, and HubSpot. The next I wanted to get into, as per my research, what is the success formula for this company? So, from what I saw, is that they were very smart enough to target the small and medium business space. So,
Hmm.
these are entrepreneurs with, let's say, 5 employees. A lot of times, the founder is the only person. It's a one-person company, or maybe like 50 employee company. They don't have a lot of developer expertise that lot of like tech startups or like big tech companies have. And typically when one web API has to talk to another web API and you have to basically create a workflow, like developers can do that. They can get the response from one API and
Mhm.
write a program so that they can trigger another API. But it is very difficult for a small or a medium business company to do that, especially for non-technical folks. So Zapier was solving that problem that these entrepreneurs had. That's why I think people were ready to pay Zapier from its very early days, and that helped the company become profitable. Also, this is basically a no-code solution. I would say like this is a no-code solution for API automation, right? So, and they started on this space much before no code was the buzz. Like today no code is getting a lot of buzz and it's a trendy thing to do, but Zapier has been in existence since 2011. Also, they were remote much before the pandemic happened, so they are a remote first company. Also, as I said earlier, I think they are the human communication protocol of the APIs on the internet. So I think all these things help the company become very successful. A company that
Yeah.
is solving a real business need and uniquely raised very low amount of money and is valued at like more than $5 billion.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think any company can beat the amount of money they have raised and their valuation. Definitely, right? So I think I see this because they were able to create a good revenue very early on. They are solving a very small technical problem, actually. It's not very complicated, but the amount of value it is creating is huge,
Yeah,
right? So that is
exactly.
the difference, right? You are having less input and more output kind of case here, right?
Yeah,
So uh, I have some concerns here as well. Like one is RPAs, right? So I think UiPath, right? So RPAs are becoming very common now, and I think Zapier has the advantage of like initially the pioneer advantage of doing this, I think, right?
yeah,
But if their cost is higher, people will slowly move to the lower cost solutions which can do that job easily, right? And AI plugins are, by the way, becoming very popular now.
yeah,
So as soon as people start making AI plugins, like I'm pretty sure some company will come along and say, hey, I have an AI plugin which will do this automatically for any integration that you just configure, right? In a natural language way, maybe, right? So I don't know. That is still a future, but I think very good pick, Ankur. The numbers that Zapier has are really astonishing. The 4,000x. I think it's some VC or
they
some.
were very happy.
Yeah, it's a dream for them, I will say, right? Like getting
Yeah,
4,000x right on their investment. So yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
it's a good, great state for a startup to be in, which is to not worry about raising, right? Startups
Yes.
are one of the things that startups have to always worry about is like when is the next round going to be, whether it's going to be a down round or there will be challenges in raising. So the good thing about having a lot of revenue and profit is like you don't have to worry about it. And I have also read that Zapier uh, shares the profit that it generates with its employees
Mm.
in the form of dividends or bonuses. So that's good. Like that's also does not create like a pressure for the employees to see the company going IPO, right? So
Yeah.
those were some of the things that I liked. Good points about the competition, how it can be disrupted. But yeah, we'll see how they kind of tackle the AI disruption that is happening.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right, let's talk about your next pick, Vishal.
Cool. So yeah, my next pick again related to computer vision, machine learning. So my next pick is Neuro. Neuro is basically company that is trying to have electric vehicle as an autonomous vehicle for delivery. are electric robots that are on the road. The job of these robots is basically carrying one item from one location to another location in a
Oh,
very autonomous way, right? Like, why it is
interesting.
interesting? Let's see why. So basically, they have raised till now 2.1 billion, and
Wow.
yeah, that's a huge amount of money that they have raised. And their current valuation is 8.3 billion. So that is the reason I was telling you my earlier pick, which was raised
Hmm.
like having 600 million, and the valuation of 7.2 was far better than.
Yeah,
Uh, but we need to
makes
also
sense.
understand they are creating something which is on the ground, right? It is not just
Yeah, it's more
software,
expensive.
right?
Yeah.
So the upfront cost, the capital cost of building this kind of company, this kind of technology is really high. But I hope the dividends that they will get, the returns that they will get on this is also going to be huge, right?
When was
Um,
this company founded? Do you know?
so this company was founded in 2016. Actually, the founders of this company, Jian Jun Zhu and David Ferguson, they both were principal software engineers at Google, and
Hmm.
they actually both used to work for Waymo project, right? In 2016, both of them came, said, let's start our own thing, and they started Neuro, right? The most important turning point in this company was in Feb 2019. That was before the pandemic, right? They raised 940 million from SoftBank Group. And basically, at that time, the company was valued at 2.7 billion. So this was the biggest funding, like initial funding that they got, right? I think it was because um, we will look at the demo what this company does. There is a small interview from the head of software engineering, right? So we will look at that demo. Let's start the demo now.
Our mapping team builds Neuro's high-definition maps in-house. First, we select a set of routes to cover our mapping area. Then our operators drive those routes and collect data using our standard sensor stack, all without needing special mapping cars. In fact, our Prius fleet is essentially the same as our bots. Perception comes next. Our perception team is responsible for utilizing our custom sensor stack to understand objects around the vehicle. The team does that by using both machine learned and geometric approaches across different sensors to detect objects. Then, that information is fused together to build a more complete understanding of an object. These four main components of our autonomy are supercharged by our custom vehicle, our machine learning approach with redundancies and fallbacks, and our prioritization of safety over comfort, enabled by our zero occupant vehicle. The result is a powerful, innovative neighborhood robot that's ready to better everyday life.
So
Okay.
Ankur, you saw the demo, right?
Yeah, it's
What
nice.
did anything stand out?
I think they are in a similar space as Cruise that I have seen. But I think the difference that I saw was that they are also going to do delivery, or probably pick up of stuff. So I was thinking of some use cases like returning my Amazon stuff that I have to do every day.
Returning
Um,
Amazon stuff, yeah.
yeah, I think I also noticed the remote control operations that you had mentioned. So if
Yes,
there is a malfunction or the car needs to be like rescued or things like that, that was
exactly.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, interesting. This is a very cutting edge technology that these guys are working on. So
So the amazing thing is they have lots of partnerships already. They
okay.
have built partnership with Domino's, I think.
Hmm.
They have built partnership with CSV Pharmacy to deliver all the medication. Yeah. So basically, yeah, they are building more and more partnerships day by day.
It will be really cool to see Neuro robots driving
On the
on the streets in
so
Seattle.
I think they also, I think in 2022 they got a clearance in the California region for experimenting and driving this. So
Nice.
looks like interesting company, and yeah, hopefully they do really really good. And we are, to be honest, I am very upbeat on fully autonomous, no human taxis, right? So I really hope they become reality someday, and they are far better than what humans are driving right today. So yeah, let's see.
Why did you choose this versus other competitors?
So I think they, one most important thing is, they said they have a vehicle which is very similar, which can carry a passenger, but their main focus is no passenger, no occupancy vehicles. So
Hmm.
I have not seen many other companies which have no occupancy kind of concept, right?
Got it. Got it. Delivery and stuff.
Also they are not calling themselves as fully autonomous EVs, electric vehicles. They are
Hmm.
calling themselves as a robotic company, right? So it's a huge difference, right? Because when you try to build an EV solution, human life comes into play.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the funding round for Cruise,
Mhm.
and can you guess how much money Cruise has raised so far? Just take a guess.
So if this company has raised 2.1 billion, I'm guessing Cruise might have raised 5 billion.
Cruise has raised till date $15.1 billion.
15.1. Wow. That is like double the valuation of this company.
Yeah, I was trying to find out the valuation of Cruise. I can't see it here.
Okay. Means they have raised 15 billion, you are saying. So, yeah, it's
Hopefully, the valuation is more than that, right?
otherwise the investors will not be happy at all, right? So,
Okay, so Cruise valuation is about $21 billion. So
finally, they
yeah,
have,
not a lot more than $15 billion. So
yeah.
all right, I think both of your picks are technology, like cutting edge technology. At least like this Neuro is definitely cutting edge technology, and Scale I think is going to power other AI companies. So nice, good picks. Let's talk about my next pick. And all right, so my next pick is a company called Deal. And the unique thing about Deal is this is the fastest growing SaaS startup ever. So my first pick was a company that had just raised one round, and Deal is kind of on the totally opposite spectrum. Deal is like one of your picks. It has raised a lot of money, and it is also the company which is basically has the highest valuation amongst all the four companies that we have talked so far. So before
Okay.
we talk about those vital stats, let's first talk about what does the company Deal do. So Deal helps companies hire and manage talent globally and take care of HR and payroll needs. Think of a company. Let's say you have a startup in the US, and you see that there is, like, ideally, as a startup founder, you would want to hire the best engineers or best employees that you have available. And why should you limit yourself to talent only in the US, right? You ideally want to hire from anywhere in the world. So, smartest employees for the best value for money. So, Deal essentially empowers you to do that. Deal provides a platform through which you can basically hire anyone in the entire world. So you have access to the world's talent, and you're not limited by the legal or regulatory boundaries of a country. Yeah, so Deal basically lets you hire all types of employees, so contractors, full-time employees, or it can also help you set up your own entity in a country, so that you can meet the legal and regulatory requirements. I think typically for a startup who wants to have employees in a different country, the process you would follow is that you'd first hire contractors in that country, right? So deal provides you that ability. After that, you would want to like either convert some of those contractors to full-time employees or hire full-time employees in that company. But maybe you are not yet ready to set up your own entity, because that requires you to like go through a lot of legal and regulatory requirements. So deal basically does the heavy lifting on your behalf. And then maybe after you are successful in hiring and testing out a new market, for opening up an office, maybe then you are ready to set up your own entity. So deal also kind of empowers you to do that. So this is a huge challenge for any company trying to go outside from its founding country. And deal basically solves a very very difficult and much needed problem for the companies, right? So again, like Zapier, it solves a very very important problem for other companies. All right, so some vital statistics for deal. The company was founded in 2018, so not a very old company, just 5 years old. The founders are Alex Boazes and Shuo Wang. Both of them are immigrants. Alex is, I believe, from Israel, and Shuo is from China. And the amount of money the company has raised so far is $600 million. They have a revenue of 300 million plus, so ARR of 300 million plus. So they are a Series D company. The company is currently valued at $12 billion. They have about 1,300 employees spread over 80 countries. So they are definitely following the model that they are the solution that they are providing to others. Their competitors are companies like Rippling, Gusto, Workday, Remote, etc. Yeah, so why I think this company has been very successful so far. So I think the first thing was that the timing was perfect, right? So the company was founded in 2018, and the pandemic happened in 2020, and it was like in a way perfect timing for deal to find product market fit, because as we remember, a lot of companies went remote during that time. And when you go remote, you why would you limit yourself to just hiring in the US? You could just go global. So deal was basically at the right place at the right time. So it was solving that problem for other companies. And as I told in the previous slide, deal currently has employees in 80 countries. So it was a good way for deal to hire its own employees, but also understand the challenges of a new country and basically solve for it. Then again, as I said earlier, solves a operation heavy and regulatorily complex problem for other companies. And the beauty of this model is that once you solve the legal and regulatory challenges of a company, let's say a US company has to open an office in India or in Japan. Yes, every country has its own uniqueness around setting up an entity, or the legal requirements, or the HR requirements. But once you have figured it out for one country, you can basically now onboard as many companies as you like, right? You have a playbook available for that particular country. You can just apply it for any new company coming on your platform. So that's the beauty. So there is a lot of heavy lifting or a lot of operational work that you have to do in the beginning. But once you have figured it out, you can basically templatize it and keep running that playbook. I think it's a win-win for both companies and the workers, because I was reading one statistics that the employees who are on the Deal platform, who are basically employed through companies who are using Deal, on average get 35 to 40% higher salaries than what a company in their home country would have paid, right? So for example, if there's a Canadian employee who is on the Deal platform. That person is likely to get a 35% higher compensation than if they were hired by a company which operated in Canada. So that's a win-win for both the companies as well as the workers. So yeah, I think that's my pick. That is Deal. What did you think about this company?
I think this is a very interesting company because do you remember I told about Scale AI that they are solving the data problem for AI acceleration, right? I can connect this company somewhere over there that they are solving the regulatory problem for the upcoming startup companies, right?
Yeah.
So, and in both the cases, that is a very hard piece. When you
Yes.
have to do a startup, that is like regulatory compliance is one of the hardest piece, right? And when you are creating an AI, data is the hardest piece, and these companies are really solving that particular aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
And the playbook example that you gave, that for a country you have to learn about the playbook, right? Like once, it is not once, to be honest, because there are multiple industries and industries have different rules and
Yeah.
regulations, so they have to do some work to figure out all of those, right?
Yeah.
It is not a single one time job, right? They have to keep it updated as well as time goes on, all right?
Yes.
So I think there is work, but you are correct, like once they do that, they can replicate it n number of times for different companies. So
Yes.
that is I think that is the core power of this company, right?
Yeah.
And when you said it is a win-win for companies and workers, I agree with it, with one point in mind. I think the worker compensation for high living cost zone, I think they will not get 35% bump from what they are getting, right? So I
Yes.
think those, that segment of workers will be impacted a little bit, but definitely the low cost of living salaries or pay, I think definitely they will have a good win in this.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, like if there is a role available, Deal basically enables you to find the best talent for that role for the best value for money for
Yeah,
that company. I had heard about Deal multiple times, that because whenever you think about, okay, I'll hire in a different country, the number one thing that comes to your mind, hey, where will I, how will I open an entity, where will my employees sit? And that's such a huge headache for companies. Deal basically takes care of it, right? Now you can
yeah,
just focus on, okay, which country is best for me.
yeah,
Regulatory and legal challenges,
yeah.
somebody else will basically figure it out.
Now
So
you are focused more on the quality of the talent that you are getting and the
yeah,
the price that you have to pay for that, right? So now that is your core, and basically both of these parameters are directly related to the success of the company.
exactly. You focus on what the value that your company is here to add, which is
Yes.
like for Neuro, that is to build like autonomous vehicles. They should not need to think about, hey, what are the regulatory process, legal process for opening up office in another country, right? So that's what I like about companies, which is especially like SaaS companies. If you can solve a problem for other companies, you can really make money very quickly, right?
Yeah.
They are ready to like pay you because they are getting revenues, and they are fine to like share it with you if you can solve a real problem. So yeah, I think we had a very diverse set of uh,
Yeah.
companies that we discussed. So we discussed about like HR, payroll software which helps you go global, but we also talked about autonomous vehicles at the cutting edge of machine learning. And then we talked about Zapier, which helps you automate workflows for small and medium businesses. And then
Scale
we
AI was the one for
we
the
yeah,
data.
we talked about Scale AI to accelerate AI development. So a good mix of different types of startups. So I really liked all four of them. So
I will tell you, this is the first time that we don't have an overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had done like 5 companies each, we would have
Oh
had
yeah,
overlap.
definitely. I think we always run into one or two overlaps.
Yeah.
Cool. So with that, Ankur, let's move on to our fantasy stock picks. What is the status on fantasy stock picks?
I can tell you it is lot of red, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
without
I
further ado, let me. Um, it is so red that I have kind of stopped looking at it.
oh, okay.
Even though
Oh,
I'm not losing real money, it still hurts.
yeah, it hurts.
Uh, yeah, so for people listening, we are basically providing an update of the fantasy stock game that we play, which is basically we take some notional money every month and invest that notional money in few stocks or ETFs that we like, and then every week we track how each of us are doing. So yeah, let me show. We'll start with mine. So
Wow,
so
man.
this is the state of my portfolios. I am at a loss of $1,108 so far, and it is just the middle of the month. So today is 15th December, and I have already lost $1,100, which I think is almost the money that I had made in the previous 2 months.
Yeah. You
Uh,
you have around $200 as a safety net, I think.
yeah, only $200 of
Yeah.
profit is left.
So
So that's my state. I would say, I think Airbnb, I have lost the most so far. So
okay.
$419, CRISPR $309, Ford $216 down, and then QQQ ETF $163 down. Yeah, overall $1,100 worth of loss.
Okay.
And we shall talk about yours.
Wow. So, by the way, I am also in red. I have lost $785. So, but I see two greens, by the way, in my
Which is a
portfolio.
huge achievement
Means
to have two
even if
green.
it is a single dollar of green, that like I think it's a
Yeah,
big win in this market, right? So,
yes, yes. Just
I
staying green is a win. Even though
yeah,
it is
even if it
21
is
cents, it's
single
a lot.
dollar. Yeah, so I will like to call out those two companies which are green. One is Amazon and one is Home Depot. Man, I think I got lucky with this. So I think I lost most of the money in Shopify, $242, and Airbnb is one of the again big yeah red in the portfolio. So yeah, looks like I have also lost all of the gains. I have a buffer of around $400, I think.
Yeah.
So
You know what would have been nice? It would have
mhm.
been nice not to invest in any stock.
Actually,
Just leave the
this
cash. Cash is king.
actually we had that option and none of us chose that actually because I Ankur, you remember previous 2 months it was all green and I think we you and me we both thought this month is also going to be green, so let's to be honest I used to go with ETFs. You have seen that, right?
Yeah.
This is the month I said I am not going to go with ETFs because it slows down my progress, and
Yeah.
I went all in, right? And that was not a good call, but anyways, let's see.
It's a
We still
learning,
have,
right?
yeah, we still have
Uh,
15 days. We don't know
yeah.
what will
Who
happen.
knows? Anything
Yeah,
can
we don't.
happen. We might lose another $1,000. All right. That's the update for fantasy stock picks this week. I think with that, we have come to the end of this episode of the Tech Banter. We had a good discussion about our interesting picks on startups, and hopefully, you guys like it. If you like it, do subscribe and give a like to the video or follow our podcast. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major podcasts. Yeah, and you can also check our website, thetechbanter.com. Please do that. And that's it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.